You're watching once again a YouTube video presentation of the University of Wyoming Center on Aging. I'm Scott Veach. I'm your host, and on this program we'll be discussing topics of interest for caregivers of loved ones with dementia. We hope that you will subscribe to the channel and you'll hit that thumbs up like button. Both of those actions help the channel to grow and allow us to reach more people. And if you'll tap that notification bell, you'll be alerted each time we upload a new program. And now, this is Once Again. My guest today is Carol Taylor, a licensed clinical social worker from Jackson, Wyoming. She and I are both members of the Wyoming Dementia Together professional support team. And we're going to be talking about a program that she actually presented a couple of weeks ago called Validation Techniques and Communication Tips. Carol, always a pleasure. Thanks for being with us.
Thank
Um,
you.
so when we talk about validation technique, what are we talking about?
Right, right. Plus how popular the word has become in the last
Yeah.
decade or so. Validation technique is acknowledging, affirming, and receiving something that someone with dementia is directing toward you. So this is how it looks. Validation technique was developed by an exquisite social worker, Naomi Thiel, who passed last year at, I think she was 87 or 88. But
Mhm.
she developed this technique back in the late 60s, early 70s. And what it is to validate what people are saying or validate what they're feeling. Now, why is this so effective in dementia care? It's effective because it doesn't require us to listen to the words that can be jumble and random and not really have a sense of continuity to a thought that's being expressed. And so what Naomi taught is that we listen to and respond to the feeling. My experiences in doing this work for a really long time is that, as I say, as the Velcro wears thin, as the cognitive processes are not up to speed anymore, I've witnessed in countless elders with dementia what I say is an emotional opening, more an emotional interchange with their environment, in conversation, in any situation. It's how they experience the world. Does this feel safe? Does this feel not right for me? Does this feel like it could be fun? Does this feel not conscious thoughts, but
Mhm.
feeling, a feeling level? And I feel so strongly about it. I even call it purer communication because it's not all jumbled up in our cognitive brains with all our distortions and distractions and defense mechanisms. It's
Right.
just purely how they feel. And you don't know what's going to come out, but I believe this for all of us. This is our truth. What we feel here, this is our truth. This is our rational brain doing a whole bunch of other things, which is good sometimes, but sometimes it's better to just go right to a source of where the truth is. So many people know about reality orientation. You see these boards in nursing homes sometimes. Today is Monday. The weather is sunny. The president is. The next meal is. And when you really stop and think about it, for someone with dementia, my belief and my experience is it's not relevant. That none of that stuff is relevant to them. And what's relevant is if you're going down a list with them and you say, lunch is coming up. Are you hungry? And they may not be able to say the words to you, but they may lean forward in their chair to take your hand and get up and have you walk them to the dining room. So that's a yes.
Mhm.
Um, but we rely so heavily in our culture on the spoken word. I could give so many examples. The one of the things that I really profess and teach and train and coach is the starting from the paradigm that cognition fades and emotions are more readily accessible to people with dementia. Listen and watch for the emotional underpinnings of what somebody is saying or gesturing. Now, what is this? I mean, is this anger? Is this frustration? Is this fear? Get away from me. And these kinds of things come up often when people are overstimulated. And I'm a little bit of a stickler for that. Let
Mhm.
me suggest that we all kind of embrace and see if it works for you. It may not. But when somebody, I have AAAR, A, acknowledge. When somebody with dementia is speaking to you, focus exclusively on them. Listen to what they're saying. And it may not make any sense at all. And that's okay. It may be just a sound, and that's okay too. But the next part is affirm. Acknowledge sound is coming out. Affirm that you heard them. I think the need to be heard is the most primal human need. That's not an original
Mhm.
thought, but it's my
It shows
experience. And
connection. Yeah. Shows
yeah.
connection. Yeah. Hmm.
Right. And so affirm can look like this. The loved one with dementia is saying they the thing of a and didn't he they. Now I have no idea what that person said.
Hmm.
I do have a sense that they were a little frustrated, maybe a little annoyed. They could even be frightened. I'm not quite sure. But here's how I acknowledge that I heard them. So he, he, they, they, I use the same intonation. I reflect back a few select words. It doesn't have to make sense. It's not about me. It's not about me trying to make sense of what
Yes.
somebody's
Mhm.
saying. It's about me being present to that person and establishing relationship. And I have seen this work so well for so many decades. But one man I think of in particular, who's my beloved teacher, I met him when he was quite old and well demented, but we would do things like that together. And he would take my face in his hands, and he would bow his head, and then we'd hold hands and we'd walk off, and that was the end of it. I mean, I have no idea what he wanted, but my guess was he wanted to be heard, and that doesn't happen all the time. But if we can just change our paradigm just like 3 degrees, just move our paradigm a little bit and know that that person is trying to express a need. And we may not be able to go through our checklist, hot, cold, hungry, thirsty, bathroom, overstim. We may not be able to go through that checklist, but what we can do is stay put. And that entire exchange with my beloved Neil took, I don't know, less than 2 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
But it was a brand new day for him.
Yeah.
So affirming is really important, and acknowledgement, and then address whatever the need is, if you can decipher that, and then move on, redirect. People want to skip over the acknowledge, the affirm, and families have a hard time with this sometimes because, well, I'm not going to repeat what he said because that's just crazy. That's going to make him
Yeah.
think he's coming across fine. No, that's not what it means. It means he's been received.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got acknowledge, affirm, address the need, and
Redirect.
yeah.
Then you can
Okay.
redirect or move on. Yeah. People try to leapfrog over some of the affirm. And I have a gentleman who's a beloved client right now, and he has started. It's just kind of adorable, actually. He has started, if he gets frustrated, he'll start howling like a coyote. He lives around a lot of coyotes, or barking like a dog. And I say to the team, I coach them, I say, howl back, bark back. Are you serious? And
Yeah,
I said, I'm
yeah,
very serious. How
yeah.
does he know? And so when they do that, this is brand new. This is like 2 weeks old. So when they do that, he looks at them with a little smile, and then it's a brand new day. Then everything's okay. And I said, it's the power of being heard. It's also, this gentleman is exquisitely brilliant and has a phenomenal sense of humor under all of it. And so I said, the first thing it'll do is it'll shock him. It'll get his attention if you howl back, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
But it works and it helps with behavioral issues.
I think as you're talking here, it seems to me that it's a significant piece of the puzzle for the caregiver to be able to read the body language a lot of times. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we get too hung up. I had one of my beloved care companions on the team of the man that now howls and barks sometimes. Uh, he said, I try so hard to understand what he is
Hmm.
saying. And this gentleman, is brilliant. And it's in there somewhere, but it doesn't show itself very often. And I said to my dear care companion, I said, please don't waste energy listening to his words. That isn't
Yes.
how we
Yes.
can affirm.
Yeah.
So we move beyond that. And I use Naomi's work constantly because she's brilliant, Naomi Fail. And we'll talk, we talked about her in that presentation as well, because she gets it. But we are the ones that have to shift our paradigm a little bit.
Yeah. I remember when I was sitting with my wife in the nursing home and we were just sitting side by side and she turned and she looked at me and she said, "You know, not very many people like to have an alligator in their pocket." And I said, "I'm sure that's true. I'm sure that's true." And you never know. I don't know what she was trying to get across to me. I don't know what
Mm-mm,
she was saying.
mm-mm.
Just agreed with her,
Yeah,
and that was
right.
okay. That was okay.
Yeah,
It just settled with her, that,
absolutely.
yeah,
It's the greater good.
absolutely.
Bringing reality orientation into it, it has no business in being in dementia care. In my book, I feel pretty strongly about that, because why? It's like confounding to them, it's conflicting, it's arguing with them, it's forcing them into a paradigm that makes no sense to them anymore. So that was perfect.
Yeah,
I bet you're right. You even like empowered Mona.
yeah,
I bet you're right. Not many people probably do like that.
yeah. I
Yeah,
heard this saying one time, and I always thought it was true. Um, is that the person with dementia no longer has the ability to live in our world. They just
right.
can't do it. It's gone. It's not coming back. So we have to live in their world. And I think
Exactly.
maybe that's what we're talking about here.
It's
Agree?
exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, yeah. Accessing. And people, another thing that I talked about, and I frequently counsel families on this too, check your expectations.
Yes.
If your expectation is your loved one's going to turn to you and say, I'm sorry things are rough now, but boy, didn't we have 42 years of our great life together?
Yeah.
No, you're out of your
Yeah.
mind. No, that's not going to happen. And then people say to me, well, I don't go visit so and so in the nursing home. He doesn't know who I am anymore. And depending on my mood and temperament at that time, there's several responses. I'll give you the most diplomatic one. I will say, well, I'm not sure if that's always accurate,
Mhm.
because there's times there's an awakening during the day. Sometimes also you're saying that your performance measures are not met. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you want him and expect him to call you by name. This is my elder of two children. He's a doctor in Pittsburgh. We've had, he's not going to do that. That's not what's relevant. What's relevant is he feels you. You're connected. You are of his body. What do you mean
Mhm.
he doesn't know you?
Yeah.
Of course he knows you, you know.
Yeah.
And other times, if I'm feeling just a little snippy as I can get, I'll say things like, but you do remember who he is, right?
Yes. Absolutely. That was my go-to. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
does she still remember you? Does she still recognize you? Not always, but I always recognize her. I always
That's
remember
so
her.
beautiful. And
Yeah.
it's such an important thing to say and demonstrate because you're teaching others every time you say that.
Mhm.
It
Yes.
jars them a
Yes.
little bit.
Yes, it does.
Beautiful,
We're
beautiful.
we could do this for another half hour. We're wrapping up. What else do we need to know in the last minute or two here that we have together?
Well, I think we need to know if we're trying to limit this because words and time are abstract. There's nothing to hold on to. And the Velcro isn't working so much anymore. So let's back off from over yakking. Let's back off from overstimulation. Talking to someone, the clothes dryer is running, the teapot is whistling, the TV's on, and then we've got some great swing music going.
Hmm.
All that is fine, but imagine what that is like for someone with dementia. They don't even know where to start. They kind of
Yeah.
freeze, or they can act out. So, watching stimulation, trying to move from this to gestures or facial expressions. I mean, you don't have to say, wow, that was really exciting, wasn't it? You can just go, wow, and let them tell you how it was for them. Yeah, I mean it's a discipline. It isn't something we come by naturally, I don't feel, but there's ways that we can do better in connecting with our loved ones, connecting.
Indeed, Carol Taylor has been my guest today. We've been talking about validation technique and communication tips. Carol, thank you as always. Thank you so much for being with us. And we want to thank you as well for being with us on this edition of Once Again. You've been watching Once Again, a YouTube video presentation of the University of Wyoming Center on Aging. We hope if you haven't done so already that you'll subscribe to the channel and hit that thumbs up like button. Both of those actions help the channel to grow and allow us to reach more people. And if you'll tap that notification bell, you'll be alerted each time we upload a new video. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm Scott Veach. We'll see you again next time.